much.
Yeah,
we are not qualified. We're not like, I don't know,
definitely
parent
not.
experts.
Definitely not. I am not with child. She is not with child.
We're not like,
We hope.
parenting. Whoa.
I got so fed up with the cane that I knew where it was placed. I took it, I broke it, I threw it in the trash.
So for example, let's say you're like boiling water in the kitchen, right?
Yes.
You let the water boil, then you just leave it there. That's not saying walk of you.
As long as it's not gonna outright kill me, maybe hold it in, like rein it in. I hope that they, especially my mom, would say it in a way that, look, here are the risks, okay? I know you see the benefits, but see the risk, you accept it, you want to bear your own consequences, go.
Okay.
Let's go do it. But at least you know.
Right.
And like, I wish they stopped there. But of course the worry doesn't stop. The nagging doesn't stop. So it's just a matter of like how much she can tone it down. And it was great to have that conversation because it was it suddenly felt very freeing because now she understands what my perspective on matters is. She understands that I have a brain, I'm using it, I'm thinking through things way more than I used to. And it's not just going into it with blind faith. It's like I have calculated things before, and I think she sees.
She probably didn't notice that. Like to her, you're always just like her boy. So it's like
I still am to this day. Like she still has that notion, that thinking, but it's just a matter of knowing how to switch from, or like figuring out how to switch from understanding that your kid needs to be babied versus your kid just needs a friend, just someone to gossip about, to bitch about his friends to. Or like bitch about people to. And so like, how do you evolve as a parent? So that is something that
I think that's something that a lot of people don't talk about because they think that you parent when you're younger. I mean, as rightfully so, because like childhood is your formative year. But then as you grow through different stages in life, do you change your parenting style, or like how do you, like you said, evolve as a parent, and how do you like cater for your child at different stages of their life, because it won't necessarily work that way, right? If it's super strict when you're younger, chances are when they get older, they'll be super rebellious, or they'll figure out
like it works against you.
Or they'll figure out how to like go against your sneaky a little bit, that sort of thing. So things like that. Like I think like for example, like my mom is a lot more like health conscious nowadays, and like she's always been a naggy a naggy person as well. But I think like maybe because versus how my brothers take it versus how I take it, to me I'm like a bit more. My brothers are more receptive actually because they're very much like it's something that they've been used to since childhood, and it's like things like she'll always talk about like health and like how you can take care of it in a broad sense. Won't go into details, but but for me I'm very much like oh my god, like because to me it just suddenly happened. So to me I'm like and I'm at the stage in my life where I'm like I can take care of myself. So to me I'm like, what do you mean like telling me to sleep at 12, like
real that's like, a real thing.
Like I know it's good. I know it's good. I got you, but at the same time I'm like like why didn't you tell me? Like I got it myself, ma. But she's like, no, like you should sleep at 12. Here's like 10 benefits why.
The health benefits.
They're like, like you should take this, take vitamin C in the morning. Don't eat, but take it first. Small things like that. Drink water, wake up your body system. I agree, all great scientific, but the fact that she's just nagging at me to do it, I'm like, man, mother, you gotta have more trust in me. And then she'll tell me, I don't have trust in you. Then I'm like, okay. Thanks, Mom. I really appreciate the confidence handshake moment right there. Yeah, for real. But So I think it's just evolving as a parent. But okay. So we have the good, we have the bad, and I think now that we're talking about evolving as parents, maybe we can talk a bit about like parenting styles and like how we feel that, or maybe in the future, perhaps how we would want to parent our child at this stage in our life. What we are thinking, at least.
I think personally for me, the way that I would hope to parent my kid. Okay, so there's this TikTok that that's going around. It's basically this mom who videos herself gentle parenting her kids. She has 6, all within a span of 1 year of each other.
Amazing.
Like either half or 1 year. You go and calculate.
Do the math.
Do the math.
Okay.
But she shows the way that she gentle parents, how she talks to them when they're throwing a full-blown tantrum, they're having a full-blown meltdown. How does she navigate through that? And it's quite amazing to see. And it's inspiring in a sense of like, hey, if this human can do it, maybe I could too. So I would hope to parent my child, at least in their really formative years, like maybe up to 5, before they can start communicating well, like really well, like they know their ABCs. Before that, at least how do I get them to not cry? How do I get them to
Wait,
not...
that's so...
Yeah.
I love how that's your end goal. Just don't cry.
Hey, have you heard... You definitely heard a baby's cry before, right? Wow, that's... Ouch.
Ear
right?
piercing.
Yes,
to say the
yes.
least.
And it's just like, not a nice sound to hear, but like, it's gonna happen. It's inevitable. So it's how do you navigate that? How do you get them to stop crying as quickly as possible, but also by getting them to tell you what they want, to communicate what they want. So I think a lot of patience, a lot of tolerance is going to be needed in the first few years.
Oh, for
But
sure.
yeah, then as they grow older and as they go through life, I would hope to not rein them in too much. I probably would be the worrisome one.
Really? Okay.
I think.
Okay.
I think.
That's your, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
but like past a certain age, maybe 16, 18, I'm not going to treat them like children anymore. I'm going to treat them like
Would you
adults.
let your child, what age would you let your child date somebody? Just think about
Honestly,
that
13.
Really?
Like secondary school.
Really?
Like, yeah, go and
Oh,
like, yeah.
I wouldn't.
Really?
Not at
Why?
13.
Why?
No, I think you just
like go
stupid
get your
shit
heart,
when
go
you're
get your heart broken, go get your puppy love, or like you find your childhood sweetheart. Good for you, but like go and experience. As long as like I said before of how my parents think like, and or how I think is, as long as it doesn't kill you, go and live life.
Okay,
or
interesting,
so even heartbreak. Okay, obviously the vices, if touchy topics like abuse, drugs, all that, no. But when it comes to a harmless puppy love, and you're gonna get your heart broken, go through it, understand it, feel the emotions, talk to me about it, and we can navigate through that together. And then I can share with you my own wisdom, quote unquote, that I've experienced in my own time, and then you glean it for yourself. But at least I would hope for my child, I would want my child to experience life in totality and not restrict him or her to certain facets of life that I think are important to go through in order for you to grow as a person. Having said that, however, I probably would treat my daughter slightly different than how I treat my son.
Okay.
Simply because like girls being girls, I feel like I should take a bit more care, and men are pigs.
Yeah.
So having that in mind,
Oh, man.
but one from my bros. But having said that, like there are dangers that come with the respective sexes, okay, and not to be sexist. And it's not like I'm gonna like, no, you can't leave the house, or no, you can't date past a certain age, which we'll get into afterwards.
Okay.
But I feel like all these life experiences, my child needs to go through to grow, to learn, to become an adult. And when they go through that, there are even more opportunities for healthy, important conversations to take place that we can now have. Because there's no point in me telling you like, oh, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that because it's dangerous for you. I rather just let my child go through it,
Really?
see for him or herself that,
Wow,
this is not that great for me. Okay, maybe not. And then I feel like that would let them stick. It would stick better in their heads than me talking through like a theory paper, So
even if you reason with them.
if I reason, okay, I touch my heart, I'm probably going to be my dad and like lose patience pretty quickly because I am a chip off the old block. And I feel like once I've put my reasonings out there, the risk, unless it's something that it's really up to you whether you want to do it. But if it's really something that I just cannot live with, I cannot live with seeing like my kid taking drugs, then that is something I'll put my foot down. He or she might hate me then, but I know that it's going to be good for them in the future. And my hope is that as they grow, they will mature, they will learn, they will think back, and they will remember that all this came in good faith and it's for their own good. But I'm going to keep that list short so that I don't interfere with their lives too much. And then once they go into full-blown adult, like 21 and above, it's just about being there for them as a best friend. That's the type of parenting that I hope to achieve. But that is the whole law of what I hope to aspire towards. Whether or not it happens, you know what? Tune into this 50 years later. 20 years later.
20 years later.
20 years.
Like,
50
wow.
is a bit far. Yeah, but 20 years later.
Okay,
But
interesting.
yourself?
No, I think mine is a little bit different. Like I think based on like what I said, the good and the bad of my parents. About how we want to let them have freedom, but also know how to rein it in and manage them as a parent itself. I think that still stands. So for me, I would say hot take. I don't really necessarily agree with gentle parenting all the way. I think there is a form of discipline that needs to be involved.
Okay.
And I do think there are times where you need to put your foot down and just say, nope, like you can't do that. No matter how many times you try to reason with someone, if they're stubborn, it doesn't stick. Or, if it's just not their day, they won't listen to you, that sort of thing. And I think sometimes with that strength as a parent, you are a parent for a reason.
Yep.
And you don't grow up as, like you give birth to the child, you're not a friend to them at the start. You know what I mean? Like you are there to take care of them. The job of your parent is to provide for them, to take care of them, to love them, and then to let them grow. But you have to manage all of that different four aspects, and how that evolves over time is like what you said with age, right? So when you're younger, I would expect myself to be a bit more protective in a sense, or protective is not the word I want to use, but I feel like everyone uses it like so offhandedly like nowadays. But in a sense of like, okay, let them go and see the world. But if it's like, oh, would you let your child play at the park alone? Honestly, I don't know. I wouldn't.
No.
To me, stuff like that, that's a safety concern.
Yeah,
Not only safety, but also I would want to see I want to see like my child, how they interact with other people, how they treat other people, how other people are treating them as well, depending on which neighborhood you're living in as well, right? Stuff like that. It's all decisions. There's another one I saw where it was like, they give out cookies, like, like as let's say a child's birthday, they give out cookies like in school, that sort of thing. Do you let your child eat the cookies?
Yes. Why wouldn't you?
Safety concern. You don't know what the other parent put in it. Same as Halloween trick-or-treating, stuff like that. You don't know the candy, like what they would put inside the candy. I'm not saying like health, sure, one thing. Another thing, you don't know what they would inject inside the candy as well. Stuff like that. And in this world nowadays, nobody, that sort of thing.
Interesting.
Maybe again, because living in Singapore is quite safe.
Yeah.
But I think living overseas, you grow up with that notion of like, you need to know how to, as sometimes I have to just put my foot down and be like, no, you can't, or like, oh, no, you can't sleep over because maybe for some reason, like, I just don't, like, I've never met the parents, so I don't trust the parents. So why would I let you sleep over? Even though this is, living your life, this is your childhood, everyone does it. But it's like, if I've not met the parents, I don't know if I'll be comfortable letting my child sleep over at this other person's house. I've never met the parents, never met the kid itself, that sort of thing. So would I still let them? I don't know. So then sometimes, even if I reason with them, I say, hey, but they're like, no, this is like the most popular person's like sleepover party. I need to be there. Like everyone's wearing matching pajamas.
Wow.
Sometimes I gotta put my foot down and just be like, no. As in, I foresee myself doing that, in that situation. So that's number one. I don't necessarily agree with gentle parenting. I do think there's a need for discipline. And then people talk about, okay, do you need the cane or the rod or like whatever, right? I think that to me, I do think is good to have in the house. I'm not sure whether I would use it, but I do think it's good to have that in the house. And I say this because I don't think you should enforce discipline with your fist. That is the very last thing that I think anybody should do. You should never use your own hands or your fist to hit a child or to hit anybody in particular itself. Actually, just you shouldn't use your hands, full stop, right at all. Like just don't abuse people. But exactly. But if you were to discipline with words, I think it's one thing. But if there is a symbol, it shouldn't be your own hands. So anything, it should be a rod. Whether you use it or not, I don't know. But at least have it in the corner. You can be like, hey, that's there. I'm not going to, you don't use it, but it's like, that's there, and that's the last resort that I will use. But I'm letting you know that that's there. And that enforces some sort of, I don't want it to enforce fear. It's more of like, that like, this is a shit thing that you did. And therefore, this is the only way that I can drive it to you that it's a shit thing. Because there's only so much you can talk to a child about. You have only so many hours in a day. You have only so many, what's the word? Like,
so much patience.
Patience is one thing, but also nobody will never fully understand what you say anyways, right?
Real?
As a child, how do you think you would have understood your parents if they told you no? I don't know.
I would have liked to.
No, as in, for sure, by all means, go and, I would say talk to the person first, really try and figure it out. But there are times where you talk so much, you can't even,
the point just doesn't get across.
Like I can say, for example, like my brother, for example, is going through this whole phase now where it's like he's like obsessed with using his phone. And I say it because like social media and whatnot, right? But even then, it's just like he loves gaming, he loves watching like YouTube and stuff. But he has a big like eye problem. Like he has like very, very high like, I don't know
Degree?
what's the... Like he needs special glasses basically, and he will never like be able to get rid of those glasses and stuff. And my parents are very, very concerned for his health, for his like the money spent for it is one thing, because he also has to take care of the money at some point in his life in the future. It's a lot, but more than that, it's his health. It's the fact that this is your eyes. You can't just buy a new one and then put new eyeballs in, right? No, it's your own eyeballs. So because of that, they've constantly, repeatedly told him that like you need to like, stop. And we've tried so many ways, but he just still falls back and defaults back to the same routine. And they've never used that cane like method on him because he's also at a, like, he's too old for that as well. But because of that, he just keeps slipping back because at the end of the day, words are words. You can let it fly over your head. So then what do you do then? Do you just let them do it? But as a parent, you care for the child. So how would you balance that? I've had people weigh in and just be like, just leave it. Like, it's his life. Like, you can't do much. But at the same time, it's heartbreaking to see your own child go through that, knowing that you could have stopped it in some sense and not do anything about it. Or even more than that, just to know that your child will live with, quote unquote, or, in a very generic sense, that burden in the future. That sort of thing.
Yes.
So it's things like that. This is a very specific example, but I can extrapolate it to other, bigger things in the future, which is why, like, for example, would I let my child date at 13? No. I would say 16. Hasn't developed yet. I think you want to go experience love in school, sure, but don't expect me to like, drive you to USS at 13 to go and like have a date with your other people. No. No.
Okay.
That's not happening. Like, you want to go write them notes? Sure, go ahead. You want to buy flowers with your $2 pocket money? By all means, do that. All for love. But like, are you expecting me to think that this is like the love of your life at 13? No, I think you need to develop yourself first. I think both of people need to develop themselves first. And slowly when they figure out, you can still fall in love at 13, by all means. But it's like...
that's what I meant. But that's what I meant. Like, you want to go and have a girlfriend or boyfriend, okay, puppy. That's what puppy love is.
But I'm not
but
perpetuating it.
I'm
not gonna, come sleep over at my house. No. That's not happening until you're like, eons older. Call me old. I don't care. Okay, I'm doing this for my child. I'm doing it for my safety. But that's my thoughts. Yeah.
But it's interesting. It's interesting that you mentioned the part where you said like it's heartbreaking to see your own child go through this, knowing full well that you could have done something about it or said something about it. Because that's exactly what my mom says when I do potentially stupid shit. Yeah. So the view that I adopt as the child end of that whole perspective is
You'd rather have lived through it.
I want to go through life and like experience it for how I wish to, and which is why the explaining of the risk in its gravity, with the gravity that it deserves, with the importance that you need to show, you need to make sure it sinks into your child, and it sinks in for me. Like, I do think about it, and it does sink in eventually. It's just how soon. So as long as it can go through, they get it, they really get it, and they still want to do, to me, it's like, okay.
But you see, you side.
Because, I side because it's like, you're not listening to what I have to say, and I think I'm right, right? So do you
think your child is wrong if they just went through it?
I think my child, this is going to be a very controversial take, but I think my child will bear the consequences that I've already informed of. Like, you're going at it with informed consent. Like, you're going at it with the information that you need to make this decision. Having said that, now that I've voiced it out loud, if you're at the age where I don't think you can make an informed decision, which is why I say like 16 or 18 is probably where I'll start talking to them like an adult.
But you say you wanted to be talked to an adult when you're like 13.
As in, I'll talk to them with the respect that it has. Like there's a difference. Like talking to friends versus talking to someone.
Oh, you mean like respect
way
throughout, but talking as a friend when they're 18.
Talking as a friend when they're 18. It's like how your friends won't stop you from doing something stupid. You want to go bungee jump? Okay, so bungee jumping is not a stupid thing, but it's a dangerous thing. But like, you want to go rock climbing in Europe solo trip. Are you sure that's a smart idea? That's what friends would say to one another.
Yeah.
And like I don't think you should do it. Has a different bearing on you as opposed to if your parent says it.
Okay, then I have a question for you. Because you want your parent to talk to you as a friend. So what do you think a job as a parent is when you are, let's say, 21?
What do you think the job of a parent is when the child is 21?
Or older, let's just say. Because,
I think the job of the parent, for me at least, this sounds like a very individualized take, but
it's just different opinions.
I feel like the job of a parent is to just guide them through milestones that they have yet to reach, and to be like a guiding light and a friend.
So what's the difference between a parent and a friend?
Okay, so a parent to me, to someone younger is being the protector of sorts, being like it's less so of a guiding light. It's more so of like the Mama Lion.
Shepherd.
Yeah.
So that's when they're young.
Yeah, so that's when they're young. Once they hit the golden age of 21 is, you're an adult now, start acting like one, go through life, hit the different milestones, buying your first house, getting married, first job, heartbreak, I don't know, like a first proper heartbreak at that age. All those life lessons that you need to navigate, I feel that is on the parent to guide. And that's what I mean by the guiding light. The friend portion comes in when all this shit is happening. How do you talk about it? Like how you would talk about it to your friends. Like personally for me at this age now, I don't want my parents to be nagging at me. I want them to be talking to me like, getting my first job now in this economy, trash, utter shit. Like I want them to be having these kind of conversations with me so that the rapport is built, And I look at them not with like okay, she's telling me to do this, nagging me about the house bills, next time when I get my first house, what do I need to take note of, blah, 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 blah. But it's more so of like, oh my God, okay, you're getting your first house, that's exciting,
Okay.
Like, oh, where are you getting it, what's going to happen, are you having a homecoming shower, that sort of thing. Then it's like, I get excited about life with them. And that's the kind of feeling that I hope to have with my parents and I hope to have with my child when my child reaches that age also. Yeah, because that is going to be something that lasts. You want that kind of energy in your life as opposed to someone who's just like an alarm clock, Do
okay.
you? Yeah. Like the alarm clock phase is past. We move on to a new exciting phase of life. That's how I see me wanting to be when my child is 21.
So a lot of just healthy, exciting conversations.
Yes.
All around.
Yeah. Like there's no longer any need to be, I kind of want to say protective. Yeah, there's no longer any need for you to be protective because at the age of 21, I feel like you would have experienced, like you're big enough and old enough to think about life yourself, to have an informed decision about certain life choices that you're making. At most, I chime in as like an opinion for your consideration. But whether or not I would hope that like in the 21 years that I've raised my child, my opinions bear some weight.
But would you hold your parents' opinion higher than, let's say, your friends?
Yes. I thought, and it sucks because like, I had to tell my mom the other day, like, listen, I know I don't show that like I respect your opinions or that I'm very defiant, I'm very rebellious, and I just don't want to do what you're saying.
Okay.
But I need you to know that when I go into my room after every fight that we have, your words bear a lot of weight on me and they sit very heavily with me, more so than any other friend's words could. So you need to understand that impact that you have on me, which is why when you say things like don't do certain things, it crushes me because I do want to go and experience. I just need to know what the risks are. Don't tell me don't do it. Don't stop me from experiencing.
I get that. 100%,
yeah, so it sucks that I have to say it, but I think it was good for me to say also because then she had like my son does listen to me. So like thank God, like
his ears are open.
Yeah, holy shit, they work.
Okay.
But yeah, so it was important to say that because then after that it opened a fresh path of change where now she goes into it like, hey, these are the risks. Hope you know what you're doing. Carry on. Then it's like there's growth, so now there's growth. So likewise, like when it comes to my child, that's what I hope to do.
Okay.
To let you know what the risks are. You still choose to do it. You know jolly well how dangerous it is.
Yeah.
You want to be stupid? Go.
Yeah.
But I would hope that whatever I say to my kid bears that kind of weight that I have of my mom's words. Yeah.
Okay. Well, clearly we have a lot of thoughts about parenting. We talked a lot about parenting at great lengths, had a lot of thoughts about our parents, how they've raised us, the good, the bad, the ugly, and also about how we want to raise our own kids too, our different styles, about how we view, discipline versus gentle parenting and all of that jazz, and hopefully how we can help our kids grow in the best way possible in the future. So that's a lot of yapping from us, but we hope that you've learned a lot from this episode, or at least you kind of take away perhaps what the sentiments are for people at our age right now. But yeah, you can find us and all of our other yapping episodes on YouTube as well. We release a lot of other episodes every week. We release them on Wednesday at 7 p.m. So you can check us out there. And you can also find us on
tifupod Squad on YouTube, on Instagram,
Yeah.
on no more Spotify. Well, yeah, but if you like to check out Spotify, it is still there. But that is the end for this episode. If you like what you saw, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Again, watch all our other videos on our YouTube channel, on our Instagram for posts and IG stories that come out as well, where you can yap to us. Every Monday, 7 p.m., we are releasing a post as well on Instagram on Wednesday, 7 p.m. I know my shit. But that is all from us. Be sure to leave a comment down below. How would you parent? But that's it. Maybe next time you guys can take it from us. Bye.
Toodaloo.